Hansi Flick's journey to becoming Barcelona's manager is marked by a combination of impressive achievements and a deep tactical understanding.
Viene en corto, Peque a recibir, toca la pelota hacia atrás, atención al robo, se la lleva Lewandowski que pone en velocidad a la Mal, esta reactivación típica del equipo de Hansi Flick, va a meterse en el área, va a buscar el centro, la quiere jugar atrás para Koundé, la deja pasar, Pedri, ¡gol!
Flick started his career as a player, but it was in the technical area where he found his true potential. After years as an assistant, he gained prominence at Bayern Munich, where he took over as interim manager in 2019 and quickly transformed the team into a winning machine. Under his leadership, Bayern won the treble and later the sextuple, dominating European and world football with an intense, balanced, and lethal style. After this historic phase, Flick took over the German national team, facing the challenge of rebuilding a team in crisis. Although his time with the national team was not as brilliant as at Bayern, his ability to adapt and his tactical vision caught the attention of major clubs. It was then that Barcelona saw in Flick the ideal profile to lead a new era. Barcelona, famous for its playing philosophy based on ball possession, constant movement, and the famous tiki-taka, sought a manager who could maintain the club's historical essence, but also modernize it to face the challenges of contemporary football. The choice of Hansi Flick was not only for his winning credentials, but also for his ability to work with young talents, something essential in a club that values its youth academy, such as Masia. Flick's arrival at Camp Nou represents a meeting of styles. The intensity and organization of the German coach with the offensive and creative tradition of Barcelona. He takes on the challenge of keeping the club competitive in the European scene, while preserving the values that have always defined Barca's identity. Xavi Hernandez's departure from Barcelona was a turbulent and unexpected chapter in the club's recent history. Initially, everything seemed aligned for his stay, especially after an emotional press conference from President Joan Laporta months earlier, where he even cried while talking about Xavi's commitment to the club. At that moment, Xavi had reaffirmed his intention to stay, despite having previously said he would leave after tough times on the field. However, in the following months, things changed drastically. A controversial interview, where Xavi revealed realistic words about the club's complicated situation and with Real Madrid's new signing, none other than Mbappe, created a media storm. Journalists began claiming that his dismissal was imminent, while behind the scenes, the relationship between him and the board seemed to deteriorate. Sources close to the club indicated that, although Laporta was trying to keep the coach, the rift between them was already irreversible. The peak of tension occurred when Xavi announced, almost unexpectedly, that he was leaving the position, ending an era that promised to be long-lasting. Hansi Flick's arrival and tactical audacity with Xavi's departure, Barcelona took a bold step by hiring Hansi Flick, a manager with a radically different tactical approach from the tiki-taka style that has always characterized the club. Right upon arrival, Flick made it clear that he wanted to implement his vision of the game, marked by high defensive lines, intense pressure in the opponent's half, and a more vertical and direct pace of play. These ideas brought an initial shock, both to the players and the fans. The use of high offside lines, something not so common in Barcelona's traditional style, required significant adjustments from the defense, which now played more compactly and aggressively. At the same time, the high pressure applied by Flick made the team recover the ball quickly, pressing the opponent in all areas of the field. Although tiki-taka is still part of the club's identity, Flick combined the characteristic ball possession with a more incisive mentality, making Barca's game more dynamic and unpredictable. This change required time, but also brought fresh air to Camp Nou, marking the beginning of a bold and challenging new era for the Catalan club. LA Masia, the greatest achievement in Barcelona's history, is undoubtedly La Masia. The legendary youth academy has been the club's salvation in times of great difficulty, such as the current crisis of economic and administrative issues. Under the effects of mismanagement during the Bartomeu era, Barcelona faced dark times, with astronomical debts and austerity measures that directly impacted the club's performance and operations. During a critical period, the club even opted for bus trips to save on flight costs, highlighting how complicated its financial situation was. Furthermore, Issues with financial fair play nearly cost the club the retention of key prospects like Dani Olmo and Pau Victor. La Liga initially rejected the registration of both, forcing Barcelona to take the case to court, where they achieved a crucial victory. This uncertainty also generated concerns among players, as revealed by Rafinha in interviews, highlighting that any athlete would think twice before joining the club due to administrative and financial instability. However, La Masia once again emerged as Barcelona's stronghold. Young talents like Pau Cubarsí, Xavi, Yamal, Bald, Marc Casado, and Inaki Peña took on key roles in the first team, demonstrating maturity and quality beyond their years. These players, formed in the essence of the Catalan playing style, not only strengthened the starting lineup, but also formed the base of Hansi Flick's work, who has been betting on them to implement his tactical philosophy. Even amid adversity, these young players have become the symbol of the club's resilience. While Laporta fights to rebuild Barcelona and overcome past mistakes, La Masia continues to be the pillar that keeps alive the dream of a better future. The development of internal talents not only eases the club's finances, but also reinforces the identity of a team that has always been synonymous with excellence and innovation. Hansi Flick and his philosophy. Hansi Flick began his journey at Barcelona in an unstable manner, alternating between impressive results and frustrating setbacks. In his very first season, Flick managed to open up a 9-point lead over rival Real Madrid in La Liga, a feat that seemed to solidify his philosophy at Camp Nou. The highlight of this dominance was the historic 4-0 thrashing of Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabéu, a true humiliation that shook Madrid's spirits. However, Barcelona's performance began to waver against smaller opponents, testing the consistency of Flick's work. The home loss 1-0 to Leganés was a harsh blow for the fans, followed by a disappointing 2-2 draw against Betis away, when the team conceded an equalizer in the final minutes. The most bitter setback came against Celta de Vigo, when Barcelona was winning 2-0 until the 84th minute and suffered an equalizer, letting crucial points slip away. Against Atletico Madrid, Barcelona showed its offensive strength, dominating much of the game and creating numerous opportunities. However, the 2-1 loss, with a last-minute turnaround goal from Sorloth, exposed the team's vulnerability in decisive moments. Despite this, Flick managed to keep the team competitive both in La Liga, where they are in third place with a few points behind the leader, and in the new format of the Champions League, where Barca occupies second place overall, just behind Liverpool. The most recent highlight was the victory in the Spanish Super Cup, once again against Real Madrid. In a spectacular display, Barcelona went 4-1 up in the first half and closed the game with a convincing 5-2, intensifying the rivals' crisis. The win boosted the team's morale and highlighted the brilliance of the attack led by Yamal, Rafinha, and Lewandowski, who have been compared to the legendary MSN trio. Rafinha, in particular, has been hailed as one of the best players in the world today, with many considering him a serious candidate for the Ballon d'Or. In the latest Copa del Rey match, Barcelona thrashed Betis 5-1, consolidating its position as one of the most exciting teams of the season. Under Flick's command, Barca is experiencing a roller coaster of emotions, but shows potential to fight for titles and reclaim its glory in the coming years. Barcelona in 2025 is impressing the world with its offensive power, scoring 16 goals in just 16 days. Do you believe this team has what it takes to win the Champions League, especially in the competition's new format? With giants like Real Madrid and Manchester City in poor form, Barca could establish itself as Europe's top force, or is Liverpool still ahead? The trio of Yamal, Rafinha, and Lewandowski is already being compared to the legendary MSN. Do they have the potential to reach that historic level? And in La Liga, with recent setbacks, does Barcelona still have a real chance to surpass its rivals and claim the title? Finally, is Hansi Flick the right name to bring Barca back to the top of world football?